I am Jason Ramirez. I was born in Cuba and I moved to the United States in 2007.
Jake Hoyle, 27 years old, from Wallingford, Pennsylvania, which is a suburb of Philadelphia.
I started fencing by accident. My father kind of like made me do it because I was leaning more towards basketball, and then I had like a little accident. I broke my chin and I took like some time off. And in that period of times, the coach came to my school recruiting people for fencing. I'm very grateful that he had a vision. He put me to fencing because maybe I wouldn't even be here by now.
Started fencing when I was 12 years old in my middle school cafeteria in a club run by Pixie Roan, and fell in love with it right away. I started traveling to some competitions, that time of my life, and wanted to fence in college. Ultimately went to Columbia University in New York to fence there. Won 2 NCAA titles there, graduated, and decided to try to make the Olympic team.
When you think about the Olympics, what's the first thought that comes to mind?
Winning a medal. That's what we're there for. So all of the other things are great, but they're on the side. And it's really about coming home with a medal. I've scored countless touches over my career, and I'm sure that when I step on the strip in the 32 that I will be willing to have traded all of them for one single touch at the Olympics.
For me, it's a blessing. Knowing my background for where I came from, training on barefoot, half of my fencing career from age maybe like 10 to 11 until 17, going to competition with one épée and had to borrow somebody's épée with no mask, had to borrow my friend's mask and had to borrow my friend's glove, and having the opportunity to fence at Tokyo Olympic Games, it's like a big deal. That's something special for me, and I'm very proud to accomplish that. It's not the main goal. Now the main goal is to get a medal. I don't think about the medal that much, but I think about the process, how I'm going to beat everybody who I'm fencing. And I know if I do my job, the medal will literally be part of the journey.
What is it about épée fencing that you like a lot?
I like the fact that you have to be more creative to find a touch because the whole body counts. I can hit your hand, I could hit your foot, I could hit your head, I could hit you in the back, everywhere. When I see an épée match, I get like super into, because I'm looking at every angle to score. It's like more intense for me.
I love épée fencing because of the diversity of actions that you can use to score. There's no transcript to how you fence a bout, and you can come up with all kinds, infinite creative solutions, how to beat someone and how to protect yourself, how to score touches, and every new bout is problem solving.
The past year or two, what was your hardest match at an international level?
Last year, right after the Budapest World Cup, I was fencing this guy from Switzerland. I might be fencing him for the Olympic Games. He was up 10-3 or 10-4. It was a match that you make a lot of mistakes, but you know that you can still win the match. And I remember Dwight was coaching me, and Dwight was like very like yelling at me, very vocal. This is what you gotta do. You start doing that. Start doing this. This is what you gotta do. And then, for somehow, I came back and I won the bout. That bout for me meant more to me than winning a NAC, honestly, because I remember you in that position that you feel like, oh man, I'm losing the lead, but then you're coming back and coming back and coming back. For me, it was like really unbelievable. I was like really proud of myself by doing that.
Hardest match in the last year, 2 years, was Budapest World Championships in the round of 64 against Romain Canon. He's currently third on the French national team. He lived in the States for a while. He fenced at Sacred Heart, so I've known him for a long time. And in the last 3 years, he's really become one of the strongest fencers in the world. And we had an absolute battle. Romain is just a fearless kid. He does not back down. So even scoring a few in a row and scoring some really strong touches on him, he never cracked. He never gave an inch. So I ended up in a situation where I was down a few pretty close to the end of the bout, and I was able to score some singles to bring it pretty close. And as I started to close the gap, he did not waver and just came super hard out at me and managed to put me away with a double at the end. Just absolutely fearless. And he took it from me.
You expect to see him in Tokyo?
He will be in Tokyo, yeah. He'll be in the individual event, and I expect him to be starting in the team event as well.
Why did you agree to be sponsored by Radical Fencing?
I saw the way that you were taking care of the athlete. Like, it was more like a personal relationship, I saw the fact that because you're a fencer, you understand the struggle. Because nobody's going to be at the top forever. You want to work with somebody that when you fall down, they still extend their hands to lift you up. And that's the part of the human part that I love the most from Radical.
Radical fencing, first of all, has some of the best gear in the world that you really can't get anywhere else in the US easily. So retailing Prior and PBT, they make really great equipment, and I love the Prior equipment. I wanted to use that, and Radical had it. You've been just an excellent mentor and support system over the last 4 years. I don't think I could have made the Olympic team without the support of Radical. So when we talked about the opportunity right when I was graduating college 4 years ago, this was a no-brainer for me.